Hey guys, Greg here. Let's solve combination sum, Leetcode 39. So we're given an array of distinct integers candidates and a target integer called target. We need to return a list of all the unique combinations of the candidates where the chosen numbers sum up to the target. And luckily you can do this in any order. Now, what makes this problem pretty tricky is that you can actually use the same number, so the exact same number, that can be chosen from candidates an unlimited number of times. So two combinations are unique if the frequency of at least one of the chosen numbers is different. So if we have candidates as 2, 3, 6, 7, and we have a target of 7, we want the numbers to sum to 7. So since you can use the numbers an unlimited number of times, we can actually use 2 2s and a 3 to get 7, and you can just have the number of 7. Those are all of the possible solutions, and you'd want to return that list. Okay, another example here, if we have 2, 3, and 5, and we want the target of 8, well then you could actually have 4 2s, you could have 1 2 and 2 3s, and you could have a 3 and a 5. So those would be all your solutions. So the tricky part of this is avoiding the duplicates, because it actually is not too bad to write a solution that iterates over all of the possible solutions, except that naive one runs into duplicates. So if our solution started as empty here, you could kind of keep doing a for loop over the numbers. So you could say, okay, well, should we use 2? Let's go down the path of using 2. Should we use 3? Okay, let's do that. And should we use 5? And you could keep track of kind of all of the sums here. So obviously this sum would be 5, that'd be 3, and this would be 2. Now we can use numbers an unlimited number of times. It's not like permutations where if we've picked 2, we can only select from 3 and 5. The same number of selections is always going to be available. So here we could actually have 2 and then 2. That would have a sum of 4. Over here we could have 2 and then 3 with a sum of 5. And over here this would be 2 and then 5. And none of those found a solution. So we'd have to keep these going here. We could have another 2. And so we'd have 2, 2, and 2. That would be 6. We could have 2, 2, and 3. That would be 7. And we could also have 2, 2, and 5, which would actually have a sum of 9. That was too big, so we'd kind of backtrack from there, saying that was no good. Here we could have 4 2s, so we have all of those, a sum of 8. We could also choose 3, so we'd have 2, 2, 2, and then 3. And of course, that's too big, but check this out here. From this 2, 2, 3, if you considered 2, you'd actually have 2, 2, 3, and then 2. And although it's kind of a different permutation, this is going to be exactly the same set of numbers here. And because there's duplicates here, there's going to be duplicates all over the place. This one's going to have those same duplicates. This one would have it with the 5s. This solution just really doesn't work. Okay, so let's try a different strategy. Say that we started at empty, and instead of kind of a for loop over the numbers, so instead of saying we could try here, here, and here, let's actually do an index approach, where we have basically here, we're considering using the value at this index. So I would basically be 0 here, saying we're considering the value of 2. So if we decided to use a 2, that's fine, we can totally do that. But if we didn't want to use a 2, well then this is just going to be empty here. So when we go over to the left here, we decided to pick 2. Well, we can actually pick multiple 2s. So we wouldn't really want to like increase this index. We wouldn't want to move this over here because that would say like we're now onto 3, but we're not. If we picked 2, we can keep using 2s because we want to be able to do this. We want to say, okay, let's go down the solution of actually using multiple 2s. And over here, we'd say, actually, let's not use a 2. But if we went over here, when we go to the right side, that is a way of saying we don't want 2s. And when we don't want 2s, this is saying we never want 2s because we need to now move this over to be 3. We need to move the index over to 1 to say we're now considering the value of 3 because we are done with 2s. This path will never have any 2s because if it allowed 2s, we would end up with those duplicates again because the 2s are over here. So the left path is always going to say, okay, let's try that number and let's actually allow to keep trying that number. And the right path says, let's not use that number and move on. We're actually never going to use any more of that number. So following that path, this is how the rest of this would look. Over here, we moved on and decided we're actually going to consider 3. Left is going to be, let's pick it. So say, okay, we can actually have a 3. We're actually allowing multiple 3s to be used over here. And here says, no, we are done with 3s. We actually didn't use any. I don't want any 3s. And so let's just not use it at all. Okay, so let's draw this next level. Over here, we'd say, sure, let's actually try another 2. That's totally fine. Over here, we would say, nope, we're done done with 2's. Let's just stick with 2 2's from here. And this is going to be all of the path with exactly 2 2's. And this guy is now on to considering 3's. When we went over here, we had decided that this guy is now considering 3's because he's going to have exactly 1 2 over here. This will be the path of exactly 1 2 because we came to this from this right side here. We said we're done with 2's, and so he is now on to considering 3's. So if we consider a 3, that's totally fine. We can try a 3, and this guy can actually have multiple 3's as well. But then when we went over here, this guy would say, nope, I'm actually not going to use 3's, and so he's not going to have any 3's over here. Okay, I'm not going to draw the whole tree because it is a really big tree, but we have a couple of different scenarios of base cases. One happens over here where we try the solution of 2, 2, 2, and 2. That actually has a complete match to our target. It's not too big. It is actually perfectly right. You would grab that as part of your solution list. So you'd say, okay, we actually want to store that solution. Now, from there, if you ever hit that, you definitely want to backtrack and go back up the tree. And from here, you'd also see a solution which is too big. So this is another case here where your sum is too big. So we'd also try 2, 2, 2, and 3. This is actually too big because this actually has a sum of 9. We would not want to go down this path at all because obviously if your sum is too big, it's not going to get any better. By the way, we are guaranteed only positive numbers here. So you couldn't get like some negative number that's going to kind of offset this. If it's too big once, it's always going to be too big. So this is a base case. And another base case would happen if you have basically the end of the array. So over here, I equals 0, we went to the right, and so we're going to move the index over, saying we're considering the next number. Over here, right, we're considering the next number. And over here, if you actually went to the far right side of this, you would actually end up kind of out of bounds because the valid indices over this are 0, 1, and 2. If you get to the end here, so you'd want to kind of recurse back up from there as well. Okay, hopefully you've seen our kind of pattern for these backtracking solutions before. Our template code is basically res and sol are both going to be these global empty lists. So res would basically be the thing that we'd want to return here. That's that final list of lists here. And sol is kind of dynamically each of these inner lists. It's going to append and pop by taking and removing those numbers. And just for a convenience factor, I kind of hate the fact that they call this candidates. So I'm just going to say nums is equal to the candidates. I think you can also change it in here, but it's probably better this way. Then we're going to get n is equal to the length of those numbers. Okay, so let's write our backtrack function here. We'll define backtrack, which is going to take two things. It takes an index, which is basically the number that we're considering using. Also the current sum. That is going to be the sum of basically whatever sol is, your partial solution. And both of these are going to start at 0. Okay, so one of our base cases is if we found a target. And so if the current sum is actually equal to the target, well, that's great. We found a solution. And so we'll append res a solution copy, saying that it has another solution. And if we found a solution, there's really nothing more to do here. And so we are going to return. Okay, we actually have another base case here. So if your current sum is not equal to the target, well, what if it's too big? So if the current sum has actually been greater than the target, well, then you just want to give up. Or if I is equal to n, that's our other base case here of giving up, is you've basically gone to the end of the array, no more numbers to consider, then we just want to return. So one path we want to go down is basically say, hey, say if we're considering the value of 2 here, so our index I is 0, well, let's just actually skip this. Let's use no more 2's. And so we actually just want to go down the path of backtrack on I plus 1. So that means go to the next index. Don't use any more of this. And also our current sum isn't going to change because you didn't decide to use that number. However, we also need to go down the path of actually using that number. So let's say, okay, well, actually, let's try to append nums at I. So we'll use that number we're considering. And if we use that number, well, there's no reason we can't use it again. And so we are going to keep I the same when we call backtrack. We call backtrack on I, the same index, saying we can use duplicate numbers of this one again, but our current sum did actually get a new value here, current sum plus nums at I. Okay, so after we come back from that path there of using that number, we now are back here. Let's actually undo that change here, and so we'll do a solution.pop. That is going to pop that same number that we decided to use here. Okay, that is actually the end of our backtrack function here. We just call it on our initial index, which is going to be 0 because we want to kind of consider the first number here. And we have starting an empty array of numbers because solution starts as an empty list. And so that is going to also be 0. So that would traverse the entire tree here. We would then just return result. That's going to collect all of our snapshots of solution into the result. And if we were to run and submit that, that will work. Now, the time complexity of this is really absurd to actually calculate yourself, and you never really would. I'll just show you that in the editorial here, it actually shows that the time complexity is n to the t over m plus 1, where t is the target and m is the smallest value in the candidates. No one would ever come up with that, so you really wouldn't need to worry about that, but that's roughly n to the t. And the space complexity of this. Okay, so here is our entire code. Drop a like if this was helpful, guys. I hope it was, and have a great day. Bye-bye.